I love lots of herbs in the polenta.
Me too.
So I've got some parsley, some sage and some thyme.
Gorgeous.
So if you pick some of it and then chop it nice and fine for me, and then once you've done that, if you can get some of that Parmesan cheese, that beautiful Parmesan, and grate some of that, sort of like a cheesy, herby polenta that you're going to love. Now, I'm going to smash some garlic here because we're going to start off. We're going to fry some onion and garlic off together to sort of build up the polenta and give it lots of flavour. Now, to give it even more flavour, Rosie, what I've done is I've made a chicken stock. So I've got some chicken bones. It's a paleo broth, isn't it? I've got some chicken bones, some onion, some garlic, some celery, and I just simmered them away gently for about 2 hours. Now, what I've got is some lightly salted butter here. I'm going to add a knob of this one, probably about 80 grams or so, and I might add a little bit more of that. Into the pot it goes. It's sizzling already, probably a little bit too hot for butter, but I'll just bring that heat down a little bit by adding the garlic and the onions to the pot here. And what I want to do is actually just sweat them off nicely, just with a spoon, stir that around, melt that butter into it, and you can see the butter's starting to melt and those onions are becoming translucent.
Seems like people are either they like polenta or they don't. It's not really something that people are on the fence with. They're like, no or yes.
And polenta is so good for you. I know you've told me many times that I should be eating more polenta. It's basically cornmeal dried. It's the same as having popcorn. It's just in a different form, isn't it?
That's it. We've got some nice fibre in there. But you're right. Like, I just went to Italy and it is on every single menu and it's done in so many different ways.
Exactly.
Polenta is not boring, I tell you.
At this stage, I'll add a little bit more salt in there to make it flavoursome. I'll just grab this stock. Now, I've got a measured amount of stock to polenta. I'll have 1 cup of stock to 2.5 cups of polenta. And I'll just turn that gas off there so I don't cook myself. And what I'm going to do is what we call reining in the polenta. So I've got my polenta here and it's nice and yellow. And you can get different types of polenta. You can get it coarse or you can get it white polenta, lots of different types. And I've got my liquid at the boil. What I do with a whisk, I'll hit it with the whisk and then rein in the polenta nice and slowly. Exactly. And that way you won't get any lumps. And I'll just swirl that around very quickly like that to make sure it comes in there and soaks up all that stock.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll stir this over a medium heat for another 4 or 5 minutes and then we'll throw in the herbs and we'll get it onto some trays. You can see I've lined the trays with cling film. Now I was going to do this in 2 trays, Rosie, but I think I'll make one big chunky one, so I'll get it all out there like that. Now what I'm going to do, Rosie, is pop this into the fridge. It takes a good couple of hours to cool down and it will firm up beautifully. And then what I'll do is I'll cut it up into chip sizes. I'll get some oil on and then we'll be able to fry these and have some delicious polenta chips.
Can't wait.
Now, Rosie, you can see these have firmed up beautifully in the fridge and we've cut them into chip shape. And what we've done is coated them in a little bit of corn flour and then into my deep fryer. And before you know it, we'll be eating some beautiful polenta chips. Plenty of salt on the outside there. The salt soaks into the outside and makes it even more flavoursome and delicious. A little bit of cayenne pepper on the top there as well. This is our seasoning salt and some smoked paprika to give it a bit of kick like that. Now we need some dipping sauce for it as well. So I've got some sriracha chili, a nice little squirt of that. I'll pass it over to you. And of course some mayonnaise because we love mayonnaise on just about everything. Now this is the fun part. Stack it up nice and neatly so you've got some lovely bits of chips there. Look at that. Polenta chips cooked to perfection with cheese on the outside and herbs on the inside. A little bit there, a little bit there. This would be something you'd find in a great bar. You know, if you went to a classy joint and you wanted something to eat, you'd just order some polenta chips and out they would come like this. We just grab the chip like this, dip it into your mayo, dip it into your sauce there, your sriracha. It's hot. It's hot. It's flavoursome, but the inside there is so soft and moist, and the outside's got that layer on the outside that makes it crunchy.